Just got back from my pharmacist, which is walking distance from the hospital and the shelter. I know exactly where to go. I know exactly how to navigate this area. And look what I got. Is there any sensitive data on this that I shouldn't show you? Bang. Seroquel. 7 tablets, 50 milligrams. I know from a friend that this stuff knocks you out. He was like, nah, I can't do it today. I'm like, dude, you said you wanted to go to the gym. He's like, nah, I took Seroquel. I'm like, so, you know, it's time to sleep. Hopefully, knock on wood, if this doesn't work, shit, I might have to go back or go somewhere else, but I'm sure I can sleep. I just need signals sent to my body telling me that it's safe, telling me that I can actually do this, and then I need enough quiet to not be interrupted in my sleep, that it can last a long time, preferably until 8 p.m. What time is it right now? Probably like around 12, maybe earlier. So 8 p.m. and then guess what? We have a night cycle. I'd probably take another one. I'm responsible for my dosage. So if I'm really like up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock I can survive until the next day without needing to go back to sleep. And then I just try to stay awake as long as I can until the next night. But yeah, I'm good. And, you know, just doing due diligence, being responsible. The most important goal that we kept landing on when I was talking to my support team is that I needed to sleep. And I was not able to induce sleep on myself, no matter how hard I tried, which is why I just kept posting and creating and writing and sharing to different sources. I have a whole PDF of a journal entry that just keeps going and going. And I shared that with my support team. And my mom said that she read all of it. And she just asked me how she could be here for me. And, you know, she is. So, you know, I don't have to share everything online. Yo, if I shared everything online, forget it. There'd be a whole library. We're talking about hundreds of gigabytes. I have 2 hard drives that both have 8 terabytes. One of them is full and the other one is down to 4, you know? And that's just as much stuff as I could salvage. Some of the stuff I lost. And that's just video, you know? Yes, text takes up less space, but if we're talking about volume and not data, volume and not gigabytes, that's a shit ton. I have a shit ton of ideas that I just write as often as I can to process these thoughts, to process the reality that I'm living in, and to stay sane in it despite having pre-existing conditions that would easily cause me to not be sane, right? I'm grateful for all the time that I've spent investing into my mental health, into my sanity, into my stability, into having a reality that makes sense, a reality that I can navigate, a reality that I can navigate preferably, you know, without having to think about it. And you just do what you're supposed to do and hope for the best. Something I just posted, and I'm about to hop on a city bike to get to the 36th Street so that I could take an express train, because that would be just more fun and less weight and easy to wait on the platform, because you know it's going to take you straight there. The thought that I posted 2 thoughts, but I'm trying to see which one I should say. One of them was, you know, what do I have to lose? My job, which I'm not really that good at if you ask me. And, you know, I can't keep doing it anyway. It's not sustainable for my energy levels. I break out in hive, my cortisol raises. Even though they call me low cortisol, my cortisol does raise, not because of them, but because of the requirement, the stress on my body to continue to show up. And that's why I'm grateful that teachers, substitute teachers, even if we don't get paid, we have 2 months off to be able to think, to heal, to regroup. And during this regrouping, I'm realizing that it might not be sustainable for me to go back to teaching for a whole nother year. So I'm hoping to be able to change my reality, change my circumstances by writing and sharing and just doing that over and over again until I no longer have to stare at beautiful women and can spend time with them. So let me get a good bike. If there is one, I only want to take an e-bike, even though, yeah, it's only gonna take 2. Ah, come on. Do I walk? Do I take this local train? Oh, the hard decision. I'm gonna take the regular bike. Yeah, bet. And I have to make sure there's parking. All right, cool. Thank you for sticking with me, for rocking with me. If I post this video and it's like just a check-in to see how I'm doing, I would probably add in parentheses, nobody asked. But you never know when someone actually might start caring, when society might start watching in bulk, if you will, to a point where it indexes, moves the needle, to the point where it allows me to have a high quality of life sustainably, and then also allows me to spend time sharing ideas with you guys that can resonate, that can lead to change. Da da da, da da da, blah blah blah, etc. As my grandfather would say, blah blah blah. You know, all that good stuff, all that truth that just takes time, patience, consistency, dedicating, and as Paul Bryson says, just keep showing up. You know, well past the recognition that you feel like you deserve. Just keep showing up. You know, just keep doing the right thing. Just keep focusing on your craft. Just keep looking to source and saying, anytime now, you can liberate my situation anytime. Things are getting pretty intense, and this is the incubator, if you will, or the enzyme for me creating more and publishing more and being intentional, as opposed to just taking all these videos and sitting on them. So either when my son leaves or while he's here, I'm gonna be able to post these videos and string them together in a sequence. And it might be a little longer, and I hope that you guys don't mind, but I've been, you know, really trying to be mindful of how much time I ask you guys to spend with me. You feel me? So yeah, all that said, it's a good day, and I get to enjoy all of the summer, not just part of it. You know, when I was in corporate, I would spend so much time indoors. Air conditioning, LED lighting, LED lighting. Is it LED, right? But that specific office lighting, you know, how was your weekend? You know, and not being outside, not experiencing life, not breathing, not enjoying nature, not walking, not cycling, not socializing, just working. And I did that for so long. I worked in an office, community newspaper for 6 years. Then I transitioned to freelance gigs, internships, and then I transitioned into corporate with a television network. And I was there for 2 years and 8 months, and it was just being inside, working overtime, leaving at night, leaving when it was dark, leaving at 9, leaving at 11, leaving at sometimes 1 a.m. every once in a while, like twice, maybe 3 times a year. And being indoors and not exercising and not being active, not dancing, not pushing, not exercising, not practicing a martial art. Just being a workhorse, just being a disposable male, just being a worker, just being a responsible citizen. You know, however you angle it. But I want to ride a bike. Like I said, I want to be outside. It's my season. Summer is great. Winter, my body locks up. My brain locks up. At least it did last winter. Maybe I was just overwhelmed by being in a shelter for too long. Anyway, music, happy place. Thank you for watching. Wish me luck. Not just in terms of the medication, but in terms of me being able to have a career outside of teaching, to be able to monetize, to be able to have conversations that matter, to do all these things at the same time, for it to be unique, difficult, but rewarding, and eventually effortless. Meaningful to you guys, meaningful to me, changing my situation, changing your situation, ripple effect, repelling off of each other, making progress, making momentum, and eventually landing on a better economy, a better environment, a better political system, a better world, better foreign policy, and that good stuff that people constantly act like isn't attainable. But don't forget, you know, elections do matter. And if you really have any doubt about that, if you're one of the people who kept harping in 2024, elections don't change anything, I once again redirect you to my friend Mamdani, who is changing New York City effortlessly. So why can't we do that on a national scale? I ask you. And if you want to talk more about that, I'm here. What's up? Or you can just look at some earlier content, or visit my website, eqm.systems, and look for the Humanitarian Alliance. But you know, you can only plug your stuff so often before you get tired of plugging it, and you always feel that somebody else isn't wanting to hear it, but somebody might be wanting to hear it, if not now, later. So it's worth continuing to plug. And on that note, ride bike, listen to music, be happy, get home, take Seroquel, lay down, cattle Gina kitten, and go to bed.